Ladies and centers, welcome to another Tuesday evening edition of the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Kayle Henderson. We're back at it again, folks. It is Tuesday evening. Yes, 9:30 Pacific Standard. 9:30 Central, 7:30 Pacific Standard Time, where we talk all things Vegas sports. Sorry, we're a bit of delay. Larry and I had to do some catching up, talking some football, because it's been a crazy year already. You know how it is, man. When the narrator, when the man, the myth, the legend, the producer himself wants to talk football, you talk football. You do that. And you get on a little bit late here on IE Sports Radio. But guess what? It's all good, because we got a lot to cover today. And no worries. I'm the host, Kayle Henderson. You guys can get at us on our Twitter forums at SinCity_IESR, at Kayle_Henderson, where we talk all things Vegas sports. A lot to cover. AJ Wilson went off the other day. We're definitely going to touch base on her because she's just having that prolific MVP caliber season, man. I just don't know. She's running away with it. There's just no way around it. Running away with it big time. Golden Knights have their season opener coming up here soon. We'll do a sneak or a quick preview on that. Bishop Gorman High School is still on a roll, baby. Number 2 team in the nation. And they got an epic matchup this week against Mater Day. Number 1 team in the nation. High school. I hope this is on ESPN. It has not been announced yet, but I hope it is on ESPN. It deserves that kind of coverage. High school sports is a ton of fun to watch. You really don't, when it's this high caliber, man, it's basically 2 sub-Division I teams, let's be honest. That's what it is, because that's where a lot of these kids are going to play, is Division I football. We're going to talk our UNLV Raiders, or Rebels. You guys know what I'm talking about. The Rebels were a team that I told you folks was a team you guys got to watch out for. I called a victory over Houston. It happened. It absolutely happened. UNLV punched them in the face. I was thinking they'd throw the ball a bit more. No, they just ran right up their throat. It didn't matter. UNLV did some work, and I really like those new unis, right? By the way, those white with those silver numbers, the metallic numbers, super sick. Barry Odom's got them off to a really good start. Utah Tech this week, Kansas the following week, so that'll be a really, really good test. If that stays competitive, there's no reason why UNLV can't be the Mountain West champion this year. And that's lofty goals, but they got to go for it. And then we're going to top into the Week 1 preview of the Las Vegas Raiders against the Los Angeles Chargers. Really excited about this, guys. It's the new era. I'm sure Minshew Mania is going to be going wild, I hope. Brother, Minshew Mania going wild. We got to see it happen, man. We got to see it happen. As you guys know, we have our sponsors, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Thank you to them for being a sponsor for our show here. A jerky that's on a whole other planet. And then you got Seal the Deal, Cecilia Wax Seals. Cecilia B, always killing it. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to touch base. We'll go right into the Las Vegas Lady Aces when we get back here on the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Ladies and sinners, welcome back from the break here. Had to do a quick shout out to our sponsors here on the Sin City Sports Show, presented by iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We do have the legendary Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, a jerky that's on a whole other planet. Just a reminder, folks, when you buy a bag of beef jerky with Planet Jerky and you post on IG, Planet Jerky's IG, with your photo and tag IE Sports Radio, you get a free bag of jerky mailed to you. Okay? Any of the flavors. You could double up on the bag that you purchased, but it's a buy one, get one. It's a buy one, get one if you take advantage of that promo. Again, all you got to do is buy that bag of Planet Jerky, Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Post it on IG, tag IE Sports Radio, and you get a free bag of jerky of your choice. Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. I love an entrepreneur, an independent business, strong independent businesswoman. I love that. She's kicking ass, taking names, and she's absolutely babysitting Larry in the free time. But let's be honest, hey, that's just the way it is. That's almost like in the contract with wives. I don't know. Mine's probably trying to kill me. A little bit of antifreeze in my cereal, something like that. Anyway, that's just the way things work. That's marriage in a nutshell. And when you sign the contract, you sign the contract. Like there's not much you can do. You can't get out of it. I just don't see a way out of it other than death. Death do you part. Stay away from that option. Just endure, right? Get some therapy. It's the way it is. Hey, here's another one for you folks. IE Sports Radio. We got to give a shout out to our platform, IE Sports Radio. You guys can check out our X, not Twitter, because I don't want Elon to cancel me, X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at IE Sports Radio. You can check out all things sports. And if you miss a show, you don't have to worry about that because guess what? We're on every major platform: Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Audible, Castbox, Deezer. I mean, we're all over the place when it comes to our main channels, not to mention you can get us on YouTube as well. You can go back and listen to the show on YouTube. You can go back and see my ugly mug that makes blind kids flinch on YouTube. Anytime you want, guys, and review the show. Beautiful thing is we're also on StreamYard. I don't think it's mentioned enough at IE Sports Radio. We are on StreamYard now. You can see us live. I can't hide anything. I can't hide anything right now. Look at my nice green eyes. I'm not hiding. It is what it is. That's the way it is. Got the Raiders emblem in the background. Yes, the last Super Bowl was in 1983. I wasn't even a swimmer yet. I understand that. But I'm still a fan. I'm loyal. That's probably why I'm getting married next year. Because, ladies, if you're looking for somebody who's loyal, just find one of them Raiders fans. We're a bunch of suckers. If you guys need to check out our channel, don't even worry about it. You guys can go to at Sin City _IESR on Twitter. X, I should say, at Kayle _Henderson. We talk all things Vegas sports. And that is interesting. We talk about that epic rant I just went on because Aja Wilson had an epic game just a couple days ago. She went for 41 points, 17 rebounds, and the Aces beat the Mercury 97-79 last Sunday. Are you kidding me? Right now, they're currently playing against the Sky. I think they're going to wipe the floor of the Chicago Sky because they're not as good as they have been in years past. Currently, the Lady Aces are second in the Western Conference. If you guys remember, about a month ago, the last time we probably touched base on them, they were a little bit lower. I would say about third or fourth. They've gained a position. I don't think they've lost a game since we last talked too, because they've been hovering around that 12-loss mark. If you get in the top 3, you're going to get a great seed. And I think the Aces are better than just about everybody but the top team in the league right now. And it is what it is, man. I think Aja Wilson, the big 3, we've talked about him for years. If they're going to three-peat, they got to ride Aja Wilson. And Aja Wilson has to stay healthy. Kelsey Plum has to stay healthy. Jackie Young needs to stay healthy. Coincidentally, all 3 of them are your top scorers here. Not a joke. Aja Wilson's leading the team in the league for that matter with 27.5 points a game. That is incredible. What an average. 12 rebounds a game. Okay. Jackie Young is leading in assists at 5.4 assists a game. So essentially, when you look at your points, Aja Wilson's 27.5 a game, Kelsey Plum 17.6, Jackie Young is 16.9, and then there's a huge drop off, man. It goes to like Tiffany Hayes and Chelsea Gray, who's been battling some injuries, at 9.1 and 7.5 points a game. So your production is coming from the big 3. Like, there's no way around it. That's where your production is coming from. The good news is their defense has massively improved since the first part of the season. Really excited for Aja Wilson. I just don't know how you don't make her the MVP at this point. Just do it now. I know the MVP voting isn't done yet. I would just crown her. You're not going to find better performances. Has Caitlin Clark done a ton for the league? Yes. Is she better than Aja Wilson? Absolutely not. No. Does she make the league more relevant? 100%. Absolutely. Shout out to the folks in the chat. Dre Area Sports, thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Ralph, the man, the myth, the legend. Oh, yeah, the Yinzer Report host. Ralph's always killing it. I bet you Ralph's super excited that Russell Wilson was named the starter. I know everybody else in the league is, especially NFC North or AFC North. Just kidding, Ralph. That was some weird shade, but I love you, man. Thank you so much. No worries here in the East for can't miss this show. I love it, man. Love this drop by Bossman Larry B. Bossman Larry B does great work. Always Arizona Sports. Have a good show, man. Thank you so much for showing up, folks. Thank you so much for tuning into the chat. We're at 61 viewers. There's no reason we shouldn't have 10 times that during the season because we're going to be doing some epic stuff. I'm still researching it, but the next Tuesday, we should have a whiteboard special for about a half hour where we talk all things the Raiders and UNLV. I'd love to drop some plays, show you guys what I'm talking about. Hopefully, I can get my little stencil to work. That way I don't have this mouse messing everything up because it's going to look like chicken scratch or like a kindergartner had its way with my computer. We don't want that. I want to give you guys some professional looks at what we try to do and dive into from a whiteboard perspective as coaches. Man, I love film. I mean, if you guys were to look at my huddle, I think I did like 10 hours last week of watching film. 10 hours. While balancing my new job, right? While being at practice, while going to a game on Friday night in another town. So basically from like 3 to 11 p.m. I was gone, while going to scrimmage for our freshman team who absolutely kicked the crap out of everybody there, which was a half-day venture. And I still found a way to have 10 hours of film, man. I love film. NFL Plus, I love NFL Plus. I'm not trying to give you guys any reason to purchase anything else because inflation, just saying. But realistically, I just love film, man. So that's what I'm here to provide you guys, a little bit of knowledge. Now, I do want to preface when I say this. When we get into this, you're probably going to know things in a certain fashion that I don't, right? That's just the way it is. Some people call lead a run play the same as I call blast. Blast and lead are really similar. Wham and trap are extremely similar, right? You guys may know different terminology than what I'm going to say on the show, but we're all here to learn, and they probably mean pretty close to the same thing. So let's just make sure we're respectful. Let's make sure we have a really good time, because I'd like to continue doing it. I think it's unique because I don't think we've seen that on IE Sports Radio. I don't think we've seen that. I think it'd be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Golden Knights, their season opener is just right around the corner, folks. Right around the corner. And you got to love it. Absolutely got to love it. Looks like the season opener will be Wednesday, October 9th against Colorado. And it will be in T-Mobile Arena, which is epic, because Golden Knights season openers and the fans, they go crazy. They're really excited. I'll be real with you guys. I don't know. How do I say this? You still have Jack Eichel, right? I mean, that's huge. You still have William Karlsson. But in my opinion, I still think you're missing. March Assault was a huge loss, guys. You could say whatever you want. I'm just being real with you. March Assault was a huge loss. They need Aiden Hill to come back and absolutely kill it. Chicken Nugget King 586. I love that name, dude. Thank you so much. You have a great show. Oh man. Dude, 131 viewers. 100 of them are my mom. I'm not going to lie to you. My mom's on 100 of them. No, I'm just kidding. But thank you folks so much for tuning in. Aiden Hill has got to have a bounce back season. He had a lot of injuries. They need him to be just like he was 2 years ago during the Stanley Cup final, or that playoff run, where he basically just stood on his head and blocked everything. Legitimately stood on his head. Like the man was head standing the whole playoff, the whole Stanley Cup series. You just couldn't score on the man. They need that. Shea Theodore's back. Petrangelo's still there. So, I mean, this is still a really, really good team. I feel like March Assault was a huge loss. It's that simple. Mark Stone's still there, but he's 32, man. Are we getting too old? Is Mark Stone getting too old? You folks chime in. Let me know, man. Hey, just cheering you on, bro. Teamwork makes everything go, bro. I love it, dude. Thank you so much. You're the man. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love your profile name. It's like the person who gets like anonymous, the original one, right? Not anonymous 55 kitty lick lick. I'm talking about anonymous. I love your name. I don't know what it is. It's so unique. Chicken nugget. What's your favorite sauce, dude? I have to know. If you're the chicken nugget king, what's your favorite sauce to dip it in? We have to know. 140 viewers have to know. If you don't tell us, you're a B. Just saying. Tell us in the chat, Chicken Nugget King. I love your style. Ralph's the man, the myth, the legend, as always. So the Golden Knights open October 9th against Colorado. Colorado's going to be a tough test. Colorado still has a really, really good young team. That should be a really fun game for a season opener. Ton. LOL, thanks. But again, the Golden Knights are aggressive. Yes, they are. We are aggressive. Hey, man, you still didn't tell us your favorite dipping sauce. Barbecue. That's what I'm talking about. Now, okay, hold on. What kind of barbecue sauce, though? Like, because if barbecue sauce is your favorite, I know it isn't just that dipping sauce you get from McDonald's. It's got to be a name brand one, like Sweet Baby Ray's. What's another one? King's. Kinder's. Kinder's has been one of my favorites lately, dude. You can get that at a Sam's Club. It's a brown sugar barbecue sauce. So good. So good. Some people love the Carolina vinegar barbecue sauce. That's always good. I'm just saying. What's your deal? You seem like a connoisseur if you're a Nuggets fan. I'm telling you. If we asked my lady, dude, it'd be ranch. Like that's a food group for her. I'm not even kidding. I caught her drinking it one time. I'm like, I can't believe I'm going to marry her. Is it too late? I watched her drink it. She's acting like it was just like out of a milk jug. It was gross. Carolina ain't bad. I like that. Like, it's just the vinegar taste. It's got a little bit of a bite to it. I'm from the Midwest, man. So brown sugar sauces is where it's at because it caramelizes on the meat really well too. When you have it on the grill and you spread it on there, dude, and you close it up, man, that stuff caramelizes on the meat so hard. So good. I'm mouth watering. It's a fat guy's dream, wet dream right now. Yeah. Golden Knights, October 9th. Man, that was a weird, awkward segue. Sorry, Larry. Sorry. I'm just excited there's 155 people in here watching this show. I never said this show is PG. I want to put that like this, okay? Never said this show is PG. We're better than a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. I promise. We're going to go to a quick break, guys. When we get back, we're going to dive right into Bishop Gorman. Bishop Gorman's had a great season so far. 2 wins. They're going up against Mater Day. We're going to touch base on that. Tons of stats. UNLV. We still have our week 1 preview of the Raiders to get in. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Here, when we get back on the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, New York? This is Ricky K coming at you at the NY State of Sports, a new show here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Listen to me every Thursday afternoon as we bring you the latest takes on the Yankees, Mets, Jets, Giants, Knicks, Nets, Rangers, Devils, and Islanders. Plus, you get some college hoops and what's the local sports events going on in the area. It's a state that never sleeps, so why not get the opinions and sports takes that never sleep? Again, every Thursday, 2 p.m. to the NY State of Sports. We'll see you then.
It's IE Sports Radio. It is your direct feed for all that is sports. It is Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris every Tuesday night right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris is the most comprehensive view on Philadelphia sports exclusively right here on IE Sports Radio. You know what it is, your direct feed for all that is sports. Tuesday night, IE Sports Radio, Philly Sports Talk with Cash and Chris.
Welcome back, ladies and sinners, back from the break here on the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. If you guys miss a show, you don't have to worry about it. Guess why? We're on all the major platforms. I mean it when I say this. You have Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, CastBox, Deezer. We're on YouTube. You can always go to iesportsradio.com. Check out our show. We have our own blog. I mean, we have our own little bio. I have a little gnarly rock sign in there with a Raiders. It's like a Darth Vader Raiders hoodie on, and I look like a child, but it's okay. It's a lot of fun. Guys, you got to check out the show. Check out the show. 173 and climbing, folks. I love you guys so much for that. That's epic. Shout out to Cecilia B. I seen her in the background there from the greatest producer on earth. Saying hi to her. She deserves it. She endures a lot. She supports Larry. She kicks ass on running the station as well. Got to give her a shout out, man, just as much as we give Larry the love. Also, shout out to our New York host, the New York State of Sports, Ricky K, man. Thank you so much. For all you do for IE Sports Radio. You were one of the drops here on during our break. And on top of that, you know, we had the Philly Sports Philly Sports Talk channel with Cash and Chris. That's on Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. That New York show is on Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern. So I want to give a shout out to my fellow teammates there. Ralph is in the chat as well. Set Point will be on the way here soon. That's just the way we do it, man. If you're a teammate, I want to give you a shout out, especially if you're contributing to the show. And folks, 173 and climbing. Love it. We've only been live for 26 minutes, and we're doing the thing, man. I think this is the highest for us so far, and I know it can get better. And I have to be more consistent. I own that. That's my bad. But life is busy, and I can tell you with the football season, I'll rarely miss anything because I love talking football. If there's anything you guys can count on for that 3 months, it's me talking football. That's 100% true. Speaking of football, diving straight into Bishop Gorman High School, the number 2 team in the nation when it comes to high school. They are a Las Vegas team, and they are an absolute farm of talent for Division I colleges around the Southwest region of the United States, especially within UNLV for that matter. But we have notable names going to Nebraska, Michigan. They're just doing a lot of stuff. They're doing a lot of great things, and Bishop Gorman deserves the love. They started out 2-0, and they've beaten ranked opponents. That's basically what they've been doing. They've been beating nationally ranked opponents. If I remember correctly, the Hawaiian team, Kahuku, they were number 40 something in the nation, Larry, at that time. St. Thomas Aquinas, they were always ranked number 8. They're always ranked high in the nation. That's absolutely incredible. And it was a 29-21 victory over St. Thomas Aquinas. The leading rusher right now is Miles Norman, 5'8". He's 165 pounds, 143 yards. He's averaging 70-plus yards a game, absolutely killing it. But when you look at that team, you got multiple rushers that are averaging more than 50 yards a game. It's impressive. Melvin Spicer's killing it, 5'11", 170. He's got about 390 yards passing, 4 passing TDs, so he's killing it as well. And, leading tackles, you got junior Price Williams, 5 solo tackles, 13 total tackles. And, Matter Day is going to be a huge game this weekend. Huge game. It is number 1 versus number 2. Matter Day's number 1. Bishop Gorman's number 2. This is one of the biggest things we've ever seen as far as national high school sports. And I really, really hope, I pray to God, man, it's on ESPN. That would be so much fun to watch. Those 2 teams go at it. That would be a blast. I can't guarantee that it will be, but it should definitely be considered for ESPN, because sometimes, man, I turn on the TV and the teams playing are not teams I really want to watch. They're not that great. They're nationally ranked, but they're just not that great. Bishop Gorman Matter Day would be unreal. It's number 1 versus number 2. And as Larry said it, the producer with the most, man, Bishop Gorman is a team that feels disrespected. They're the defending national champs. They're not just the defending state champs in Nevada. They're the defending national champs in high school football. And they're ranked number 2 still, somehow. We're going to find out who the top team in the nation is this weekend. At 7 p.m., I just think it's an away game. They're going to Matter Day. I don't know, dude. It's California versus Las Vegas. That's what it is at the end of the day. It's the Libs, and I'm just kidding. It's the California Matter Day or Bishop Gorman. I'm calling this right now. I think Bishop Gorman wins. I think Las Vegas, it's just rolling right now. There's just something in the air. There's something in the air of Vegas. I have no problem saying that. I called UNLV. A lot of you thought I was crazy for that. I called UNLV over Houston a couple weeks ago. Larry will attest to that. I thought it would be a couple score victory, actually. I remember saying it on the show. And there's Larry, go Matter Day. What a traitor, man. It's like, I'm from California, bougie. Good Lord. Let's go Bishop Gorman. We got a rivalry here. That's what I'm talking about. Starting a rivalry. They're not even defending national champs. You're going to sit on there in your pedestal? Wimp. Unbelievable. And speaking of transitioning to great sports. UNLV is on a roll, man. Like they're just a different program right now. They're in the Mountain West. They're certainly not struggling anymore. Barry Odom has got something figured out there, dude. And I think one of the things that Barry, when you look at this roster, one of the things Barry's done really well compared to the past coaches is he's not really leaving the town. I mean, he's got a lot of former UNLV players or former Las Vegas high school players. There's a lot of really talented players in Las Vegas. And you're a university that is accustomed to Vegas. Why would you leave Vegas if you don't have to? There's a lot of talent there. You could build a really good team from Las Vegas. The best players in high school in Las Vegas, if you get 5 or 6 of them a year, you're gonna be doing really well. Really well. And sprinkling those kids in is going to lead you to bigger opponents. It's that whole Miami effect. And I know we've talked about it a few times on the show, but what I think it's about recruiting, being the best recruiter in your home state, right? Miami did it back in the early 2000s when they had that super team that had 17 number 1 draft picks in 2 years, which was incredible, by the way. I don't think we've ever seen that again. But I'm telling you, the 01 Miami Hurricanes was probably the greatest college football team we've ever seen. One of the most talented we've ever seen. There are modern day teams that I think would absolutely struggle against the 01 Hurricanes. That's how deep they were. And basically, the head coach at the time, all they did was cut Miami in half and say, we're just going to go ahead and recruit everything south of the midpoint line in Florida. We're just going to focus on them players because you can throw a rock and hit a great player in Miami, in Florida, anywhere on the South Tip. That's what they did. I think Barry Odom and UNLV are doing the exact same thing. And it's great results. Beating Houston, a Big 12 opponent, at Houston, 27-7. And in the fashion that they did that, here's the deal. I felt as though it looked like it was pretty dominant. That's just me, in my opinion. 27-7 kind of says it. You won by 3 scores. 195 rushing yards. That's incredible. 100 yards rushing as a team is hard. It really is. In today's age of football, it's really hard to do that. And you have a team that went 195, was averaging 4.1 yards a carry. It didn't matter who was carrying the ball. They were averaging 4.1 yards a carry, right? Then you look at the quarterback situation. He only threw for 71 yards, but it was 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. His QBR was a little bit low. But listen, man, when you've controlled the ball really well, when you controlled the clock, when you're converting on 3rd and short on a consistent basis. And I watched the game, dude. I have now that I'm no longer working at my old company where I had free TV, I had to get YouTube Live TV. I can do that little panorama view where you got 4 games going at one time, dude. It's sick. And trust me, I was watching 4 games. I was back and forth. I looked like I was on speed, man. My eyes were everywhere. The 4 corners of that TV. But UNLV was one I definitely watched. I thought they ran the ball really well. It was very effective. Houston just looks like a team that is struggling, dude. They look like they're a team that's struggling. But it's great news for UNLV because I just don't think, other than Boise State, and I'm being real when I say this because Boise State is, I don't care if Boise State's a juggernaut every year. Every year. Other than Boise State, I do think that UNLV could be a top team in the Mountain West this year. I truly believe that. Now, they will need more from Sluka, their starting quarterback. They will need more from him. Granted, the 2 quarterbacks that transferred in, they were transferred in from FCS teams for that matter, Sluka being one of them. They were rushing quarterbacks. So we're going to see a huge emphasis on the run game, especially with option or zone read. We saw that during the game. They did an excellent job of playing tough with those guys, man. Excellent job. I'm really excited for UNLV. I think they have a chance to really surprise some people. This week they play Utah Tech. I would say the win probability is near 90%. I hate to say that. That's just terrible to say that to a team because every team has a chance, but I don't know, man. Like, Utah Tech is not a team that I think UNLV should be really worried about. You do handle opponents 1 week at a time, for sure. Not taking anything away from Utah Tech, just being real. I don't think they're on the same level. If you can beat Houston, you should mollywop Utah Tech. Kansas will be very interesting in 2 weeks. on the 13th. It's a night game on ESPN. That should be a very interesting game. Lance Leipold led Kansas, just a different program. I think everybody can agree with that. Lance Leipold, he came over from Buffalo, and Kansas just a different team. So UNLV has a really good test. If they can be competitive or somehow slip out of that with a victory, that's huge. That'd be unbelievable. And then 2 weeks from then, well, let's put it like this. The following week, you have Fresno State. The following week after that, Syracuse with Kyle McCormick or whatever his name is. Kyle McCord, sorry. Kyle McCord, who transferred from OSU. So Syracuse has a pretty damn good quarterback. There's a couple good tests on this schedule, including Oregon State and Boise State. San Diego State's going to be better. Sean Lewis is going to do a great job there. He was the scapegoat in Colorado last year. And you want to know how good of a scapegoat he was? The man's got a head coaching job now in Division I football. So all I can say is people can say what they want about Sean Lewis. He wasn't the issue because Colorado was averaging 30-some points a game, and he was the offensive coordinator. So what that would tell me is if Colorado went like 4-8 last year, the defense really sucked, is what it says at the end of the day. UNLV at number 19, Kansas. Yes, sir. Friday the 13th, September 13th. Nothing could go wrong that day, right? The 13th. 6 p.m. on ESPN. We'll love it, man. We'll love to see that. We're going to go to a quick break here, guys. When we get back, we're going to touch base on the Week 1 preview of the Raiders and the Chargers because we do have some good questions, especially from Chicken Nugget King asking what my expectations are for the Raiders. We'll be brutally honest as we always are, and I'll try and do my best to be as objective as possible. When we get back here on the Sin City Sports Show presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, everybody? This is Darren Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunderous Spikes? Then I have the show for you. Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, Pittsburgh? This is Ralph Calise, the host of the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Are you that passionate, diehard Steelers, Penguins, Pirates, or just a Pittsburgh sports fan? Then please join me on the Injury Report every Tuesday on IE Sports Radio, the direct feed for all that is sports. And I will update you on all that's black and gold. Have you telling your Pittsburgh fans and friends what's up with Pittsburgh sports. Tune in Tuesday with me, Ralph Calise, the Injury Report on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go!
Ladies and sinners, welcome back from the break. We're on the back end of this show. Here is a quick show here on IE Sports Radio. This is the Sin City Sports Show presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. No worries, folks. You guys can get at us on Twitter at SinCity_IESR, at Kayle_Henderson, where we talk all things Vegas sports. If you missed a show, don't worry about that either, because we're on every major platform you can ask for when it comes to podcasts. We have Google Pods, Apple Pods, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker. Again, Amazon Music, Audible, Castbox. I mean, we're everywhere, guys. And you guys can go to YouTube, check out our show. On top of that, go to iesportsradio.com, buy some merch, support the show, Support Larry B, the man, the myth, the legend himself, who works really hard to keep this station going. We're killing it. Visit the shop. Special thank you to Taryn Rodriguez there, the host of Set Point. He's our resident volleyball expert here on IE Sports Radio, one of the best teammates known to man. And as always, big shout out to Ralph Calise, the Yinzer Report, our resident Pittsburgh native, man. Killing it. These guys absolutely kill it. They're great teammates. They're involved with almost every other show. I swear, every time I tune into a show, they're in the comments somewhere. They kick ass and take names. And you got to love that. Those are the best type of teammates, man. So I always give them huge shout outs for that. Transitioning to the Raiders, man. Week 1 is this week against the Chargers. We're going to see a couple firsts, right? Here's my thought process. The Chargers got the head coach I really wanted. I think you guys know that. Chicken Nugget King had a fair question. He said, what kind of expectations do you have for the Raiders this year? I feel like I've been extremely honest with you guys. I thought at first, 10 wins was very doable. I really did. I thought 10 wins was doable. And that was with Aidan O'Connell as the starting quarterback. I'm really not high on Gardner Minshew. Does he give you a better deep ball? Yes. Was he more consistent than Aidan O'Connell? I don't think so. I really don't. I don't think so. I think Aiden's got a better arm right now. But yeah, the deep ball was just, I guess, the thing, man. Their plan is to run the ball and throw it deep. And if that's the case, I can see why they like Gardner. I just don't. Here's my thought process, man. If you're starting Gardner Minshew, you just don't have over Aidan O'Connell. You just don't have your franchise guy yet. It's that simple. You don't have your franchise quarterback at this time. And it's okay to admit that. There's nothing wrong with that. I think the Colts kind of went through that with the Matt Ryan situation. And then just after him, Gardner Minshew, right? They drafted Anthony Richardson. He got hurt last year. He was getting better. Anthony Richardson was getting better before he got hurt. But the reality is, man, quarterback purgatory is a real thing. It is a real thing. And right now, I think the Raiders are flirting with that. So unless they make a really good trade or sign an epic free agent this next offseason, which is possible, Dak Prescott is an option. With this kind of talent, Dak Prescott, I think, would clean up. I really do. I think he'd kill it with Devontae Adams and these guys. I think they'd absolutely kill it. And this defense is better than he's ever had in Dallas. Like, there's talented players in Dallas, but this defense of the Raiders is the best defense we've seen in 2 decades. They're probably a bona fide top 10 defense this year, which is crazy. You just don't see that, especially coming from a team that was basically voted the worst defensive team the last 2 decades. Like, this is incredible. The defensive line rotation is really deep. The linebackers are very talented in Spillane and Divine Diablo. I think the safeties are absolutely battling. More led by Morig, Epps. You got Taylor, who just got drafted. Studs. And then, I think our corners are up and coming, man. They're young. Nate Hobbs, Bennett out of Maryland. And then you got Jack Jones, who was picked up on the waivers last year, basically, a couple weeks before the Raiders played the Chiefs and had that epic game, the last loss of the Chiefs, basically. Jack Jones is a beast, man. He's a ball hawk. So you have a defense that's actually really good this year. And what's scary is your offense is still paid much more as far as salary cap's concerned than the defense was. There's just a huge emphasis on offensive spending. I think that's just the way the league is these days. But when I look at expectations, man, I wanted to say 10, and I would have said 10 after the draft. I'm thinking the Raiders will be lucky to win 8 or 9 games because the schedule is brutal. It is brutal. The Chargers are not the best team we're going to see the next 4 weeks, and they're going to be a good team. They have the head coach I wanted. I do like Antonio Pierce. I'm excited to see what he does. I'm not happy with his decision with Gardner Minshew. I think that needs to be reconsidered a little bit. I think as soon as Gardner struggles, you probably need to put in Aiden, because here's the reality, man. I would rather see what we have with Aiden, the potential, and rule it out than what we don't have with Gardner Minshew, who's been in the league for 6 years. He's always been a journeyman backup. There's a reason for that. For some reason, there are people that are trying to draw parallels between Gardner Minshew and Rich Gannon. They're completely different guys. I don't care what anybody says. They're completely different guys. And I can tell you there was one major factor nobody's talking about. John Gruden was a hell of an offensive mind. At the time, the West Coast offense and the way it was called was incredible. And John Gruden was at the forefront of that, which is why he got a head coaching job after being a wide receivers coach for the Philadelphia Eagles under Andy Reid. I'm just saying. Like, that was huge for development. I don't know if we have anybody on this coaching staff that can coach in the same way that John Gruden does. I just don't think they're that smart. Luke Getsy's going to do a great job. I love his gap style run. He's going to have a ton of play action. A lot of positives for this team. So I know I said some negatives, but positives are this. Best defense we've seen in 20 years. Will likely be a top 10 defense as long as everybody stays healthy. The additions of Christian Wilkins is crazy. Max Crosby, Tyree Wilson coming into his second year should be really good. Although I was a little alarmed in the preseason, he seemed to be as good as the other backups that were out there at the time, and that shouldn't be the case from a top 10 pick. But who knows? He could have just been having a rough game. Malcolm Kuntz, I think he's absolutely going to kill it this year. He could have double-digit sacks as well. With that said, I mean, that defense is stacked. We've talked about him. We just talked about him a little bit ago. The offense is what's impressive to me. Here's the thing. I think the Raiders O-line is the weakest part of this team, and it's still got a ton of talent. The Raiders O-line has a ton of talent. I mean it when I say that. A lot of young talent. Jackson Powers-Johnson is not even projected to start this week, and he's a stud. And if Andre James messes up in any way, shape, or form, Jackson Powers-Johnson's probably taking his job because he was an unbelievable center in college. Unbelievable at Oregon. And you grabbed him in the second round. For 2 straight years, the Raiders have absolutely stole players in the second round. Michael Mayer, Jackson Powers-Johnson. Stole them because they were round 1 talent evaluated players. There just isn't enough picks, man. I'm telling you, there's just not enough picks. And you got a lot of teams that just reach. Straight up. Like Xavier Worthy to me was a reach for the Kansas City Chiefs. Do they need him? Probably not. That's the unique thing about that whole situation. The Chiefs are just deep in general. Xavier Worthy was just a guy, they're just trying to add a speed element. I don't know if he's that great. Was he worth a first round pick? Probably not. Jackson Powers-Johnson, Michael Mayer, they were first round grades. Legitimately. And they were picked up in the second round by the Raiders because they were patient. You know, the Raiders could have traded up. I love those picks. And both those picks, I think, are going to show up and be absolute dogs for the Raiders for future years. Here's another positive. The Mayer-Bowers combination, it'll be the first time we get to see them on the field together this season. So we're going to see a lot of 12 personnel. Luke Getsy loves 12 personnel, especially in this gap run scheme. Michael Mayer is beefed up to about 265 this year. He's a monster, right? Possession. He's probably more of a possession guy. We all know Bowers is going to be that gadget dude. Bowers right now is listed as an H-back. He's not just listed as a tight end. He's listed as an H-back, which means he's probably a hybrid. He's probably a fullback tight end hybrid. I mean, he's all of 6'3", 240, and he runs like a gazelle. Like, outside linebackers and safeties are going to have an absolutely horrendous time covering this kid. He's an absolute mismatch. When you got him, when you got Myers, when you got him, when you got Mayer, when you have Jacoby Myers on the team, Trey Tucker, who's emerging, who emerged the last season and a half with his deep ball or his deep route running. And on top of that, you still have one of the best receivers we've ever seen in the NFL in Devontae Adams, who had 1,200 yards last year, even with all the quarterback bullshit that was going on. There's a lot of bright spots on this team. On top of that, and this is where I'm really going to be positive, because the Raiders O-line struggles to pass protect. They always have. With the exception of 2016 when Rodney Hudson was the center and that team was just like, you just couldn't sack Derek Carr. And the one time it happened, he broke his leg. Right? This Raiders O-line can run block. This Raiders O-line is nasty. They are built to be physical. Dylan Parham, Jackson Powers-Johnson, Cody Whitehair, for that matter. I think Cody Whitehair is going to start at right guard to start the season. Thayer Mumford is going to kill it, guys. I mean it. A lot of talent on this team, and they're all cheap players because they're on their rookie deal still. There's a lot of there's a lot of things to be positive about with this team. The big thing right now is, will the line hold up, and is Minshew going to do enough to win against good teams? If they can do that, you have a 10 plus win team. I just don't trust Gardner Minshew in that factor. I really don't. And I understand the people that were like, why didn't the Raiders trade up? And they were frustrated with that. I completely respect that and understand that. Totally get it. It just wasn't the right time, man. You had too many teams that were trying to get a top quarterback in this year's draft. The Raiders couldn't push that in. So they stayed status quo. Again, I would rather see what we get out of Aiden O'Connell in a year of development and production out of him than what we're going to see from Gardner Minshew, because I've seen the statistics with Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell have eerily very similar statistics. The only exception is one was a 6-year vet last year. The other one was a rookie. It's pretty pathetic, man. Like, that just kind of tells you where we're at as a program when it comes to finding quarterbacks. But a lot of positives, and I think one of the big ones is, and I'm saying this for real, if you are somebody that is in a PPR league or a league where running back matters, I would get Zamir White. Zamir White's going to absolutely kill it, man. He's going to have a great year. Great year. Alexander Madison, his backup, great year. Amir Abdullah, one of the best third down backs we have. You still have Dylan Lobby, who's been killing it in the preseason. I'm telling you guys, this Raiders team is more talented than it's been in a while. There's a lot of weapons. It's just, can you protect the quarterback? Can they design plays for Gardner to get the ball out quick and efficiently? Like he did when he was playing for Mike Leach. I mean, that's how he got to the NFL, man. He got the ball out quick and it was accurate, and they moved the ball down the field. The Raiders just need a facilitator, guys. That's where we're at right now. I just don't know if Gardner's going to be that much better than Aiden O'Connell. It's that simple. When I look at this week, man, I see a Chargers team. I'll put it like this. Jim Harbaugh is 4-0 in season openers as a head coach for the NFL. 4-0. He never lost the season opener in San Fran. Okay? And the reason being is he's just a hell of a coach. And I think him and his coaching staff are unbelievable preparation. They prepare better than most coaching staffs ever dream of, right? It's always a process. It's always a plan with Jim Harbaugh. It's about being physical, running downhill, and running a lot of power. Like, we're going to see that. Justin Herbert is going to mature over the next couple of years in a way that we're not expecting, because Jim Harbaugh has some sort of effect on quarterbacks. The Alex Smith effect is what I call it. Guys, Alex Smith was absolute dog shit. He was close to being considered one of the biggest busts in NFL history at one point. Jim Harbaugh gets the head coaching job at San Francisco. Alex Smith goes 13-3 as the starter. And then he does so well and plays so well that the Kansas City Chiefs thought he would be worth a third-round pick. And the Niners basically pulled off highway robbery at that point. I'm just saying. There's a lot to like with the Chargers as well. And I hate the Chargers. But I respect that they have Jim Harbaugh. So when I look at this week, I'm leaning towards the Raiders winning 28-24. That's my prediction right now. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's flip-flop, because Jim Harbaugh just has a knack of finding the way to win. The one thing I will tell you that's really hurting the Chargers, I don't think they have a true number one wide receiver yet. I just don't know. I don't see it. They drafted that kid out of TCU. I think Palmer, that speedy number 5 for the Chargers, is really good. Other than that, man, I don't know. Justin Herbert's going to have to be an absolute facilitator of the football. And it's hard to do that in week 1 or in the NFL in general when you don't have a true number 1. So I'm picking the Raiders to win 28-24. I think Gardner's going to throw for a couple touchdowns. I think Luke Getsy's going to do whatever he can to protect Gardner. I think they're going to run the ball really well. The Raiders have had a tendency to just absolutely destroy the fronts of any Los Angeles Chargers team in the last few years. So I love those odds. I love the idea that the Raiders will have a chance to compete in the run game and set up play action. That's why I think the Raiders win 28-24. And I do think it's a couple big plays that lead to that. We're going to close the show here, folks. And I tell you what, man, 232 people tuned in today. That's our record so far. I know that there's teammates that have absolutely killed it and had, 5 times this amount. I think we can get there here. And again, that's on me. I got to be more consistent. But I think we offer something here in Sin City sports that's different, right? I'm a true sports person. I'm a true coach. I know my X's and O's, man. I've been around sports for years. I'm a businessman, right? I understand how to market. I think we can just kill it here on the Sin City Sports Show. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. And I love interacting with the people in the chat. So if you're somebody who wants to be involved with the show, get in our chat, man. Ask questions. Let me research it. Challenge me. Because I promise you, I'm going to do what I can to give you the right answers. Same thing I would do for my players, man. Same thing I would do. Exciting week ahead of us, guys. College football looks like it's going to be a blast. I'm just super stoked that college football's back. That was awesome watching that this past weekend. NFL, this will be the last, as Larry V said himself, this was the last Sunday without football for like 3 months. 3.5 months. I'm so stoked for that, guys. So stoked. And who knows, maybe the Raiders will surprise me. I hope they do. I love them. The Raiders. I love them. And go NU, by the way. I want Nebraska to beat Colorado. I need it. And go Utah Utes, because they just kill everybody. But, most importantly, go Raiders. I want to see it, man. I want to see those Chargers go down. I want to see Justin Herbert crying. I want to see him looking at his teammates saying, man, I just want a tie. I've never wanted a tie so bad, little pussy. I'm just kidding. Terrible to say. They're the Chargers. Justin Herbert's an all-world talent. I got to be careful with that. I wish he was a Raider. I'm not going to lie to you. This is the Sin City Sports Show presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I'm your host, Kayle Henderson. You guys can get at us at Sin City _IESR, at Kayle _Henderson, where we talk all things Vegas sports. Tune in next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Central Time, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we talk Vegas sports and we give you guys recaps of the first Raiders game and the second UNLV game with the whiteboard addition to StreamYard, because they have that whiteboard function with StreamYard. Should be a lot of fun here on the Sin City Sports Show. As always, folks, have a great rest of your week, and love, peace, and hair grease.